G'day everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's episode of the GWS Career Mode we have another finals preview, but this one is a very special finals preview, of course, because it's the grand final preview. But before we jump into all that, we have to take a look back at our prelim. We got up by just 4 points over Port, 9-3-57 to 8-5-53. It was a very close game, obviously. That was the closest final we've had this whole series. And it was an interesting one because we jumped out to an awesome start. They really come back at us in the second quarter and especially the third quarter. And in the last quarter they scored just 1 point and we really run all over them to get the win. So yeah, an awesome game, and I'm really proud of the lads. You know, 3/4 time I think we were down by 14 or 15. Could have dropped our heads, but we didn't. We really fought back in the last quarter and managed to get the win in awesome fashion. And now the question is, of course, who will we be playing in the grand final? Giants versus who at MCG in that big weekend, the final Saturday of September. Who will we be playing? We've got Carlton, who have come from 8th place, all the way from 8th, to make it to a prelim, against the 3rd place. They come into the finals 3rd placed Sydney Swans, who fought hard, very hard. Well, actually, first half of the season they didn't have a good season. After that bye, they turned it up to another level. To make the top 4 and especially finish 3rd. Knock off Port, make a prelim, but can they knock off the 8th placed Blues? If they manage to, this would be the first time ever that the two Sydney teams have played in a grand final. It would just be the first time ever the Sydney Derbies have played in the grand final. We come very close 2016, but the Swans won the prelim. I don't remember who that was against, and they made the granny. And then Giants lost to the Dogs by, I can't remember, I think it was single digits if I remember correctly. So it was quite a close game, and that is just how close we were to getting that Sydney Derby in the grand final, which actually would have been an awesome story because it would have been Giants' first ever grand final. It would have been against the crosstown rivals Sydney. But who will the Giants be playing in the grand final? Here we go, second preliminary final. Swans 8-5-53, Carlton 9-5-59. Carlton have gone, they've been the away team every single final because they come from 8th. They've knocked off, who'd they play? They knocked off Collingwood in the elimination, which was at the G, so I mean it was their away game, but not really. They knocked off Hawks in the semi again at the G. And then they've knocked off the Swans in Sydney at the SCG in the prelim. They've come all the way from 8th to make the grand final. It's nuts. It is crazy. And it is an awesome effort from the Blues. Also, both losing teams in the prelims scored 53. So that's interesting. And once again, we come very close, just single digits, of having a Sydney Derby grand final. Here we go, a look at the grand final odds, everything. This is the preview slide. We got the grand final up the top. We have Giants, the home team, at $1.67. Carlton, the away team, at $2.46. So Giants are massive favourites for the big day in September at the MCG, of course. They are massive favourites. Both teams are in some great form. Carlton didn't have great form coming into finals, but they've won their last 3 in a row, obviously. I mean, to make this grand final, we've been great all year. But yeah, this is just, last year we played Richmond, who finished 4th, and we knocked them off in the qualifying final. But this year, actually, I was about to say this year, it's almost more of an anticipated game, considering Carlton have come all the way from 8th. Like, it's insane. But last year Richmond were going for a 3-peat. We were going for our first ever flag. So that was actually Richmond's first ever 3-peat if they were to win it. So yeah, that was actually a pretty highly anticipated game, pretty hectic game. Now let's have a quick look at this. The similarities to the 2016 season. A team from outside the top 4 makes the grand final. New South Wales versus Victoria in the grand final, with New South Wales being the team that finished higher, or being the team that finished in the top 4. And the last one is both Sydney teams making the prelim, like making different prelims, but one gets knocked out by a Victorian team. The similarities here are crazy. Like I said, I don't quite remember who Sydney played in their prelim in 2016, but but that could have been even more insane, because it might have been an interstate team, so I could have wrote that. It might have even been a South Australian team, that could have been insane. But yeah, so similarities 16 is crazy, which doesn't necessarily suit us, because of course the Doggies coming from outside the top 4 knocked off the Swannies in the grand final in 2016. Now let's take a quick look at the last time these two teams played. It was round 22 at Giants Stadium, so it wasn't that long ago. Giants got up 9-4-58 to 6-6-42, and yet another low-scoring game that the Blues have played in. I spoke about that, and I think the preliminary final preview, I spoke about how Carlton have enjoyed the low-scoring games. They've, played in just so many of them, and just really kept opposition teams to low scores. But then as well as themselves, like just the whole overall points from the game's been really low, and this was another one, just 100 points scored from both teams throughout the whole match. And yeah. Now the most goals for each team last time these two teams played. For the Giants, it was Goulden and Hogan, 2 each, and for Carlton, it was Jack Nunes, who also kicked just the 2. Goulden has had an outstanding season for us. Insane. Second in the Coleman in just his second season in the league. Jesse Hogan has been really good in games, in spurts, and we know just how good Jack Nunes can be at times. So no surprise there with the 3 leading goal kickers from the game. In the best, last time these two teams play, we got best on was Josh Kelly, of course, from us, and yeah, he had a very, very strong end to the season, and yeah, this was just another one of the games where he got best on. Second best on, Paddy Cripps. We all know just how good of a player he is, and he will be massive for them in this grand final. And third best on was Matt Flynn. Yeah, he played very well. We all know just how good Matt Flynn is and can be, and how good he's shown that he can be for us. And yeah, honestly, hopefully he has a big one in this grand final, because he is absolutely the type of player that we need to have a big one. We need him to just be winning it out of the ruck. Also, talking about ruckman, actually, I thought the other day, imagine Bugay got injured in the prelim, Pitney would come back in, right? Or even Flynn, anyone, one of our ruckmen, Pitney would come back in. He'll be playing in his first grand final against his old team. That would be crazy. And yeah, now he probably wishes he didn't leave. Oh, the poor bloke. On to injuries and suspensions. We still have none. We didn't get any injuries and suspensions in the prelim, so we still have absolutely none. So yeah, we've just been very lucky with our injuries and suspensions all season, and that continues all the way through the final series, which is exactly what we want. Now on to Carlton's injuries and suspensions. They have just the 2 injuries, and it's Sam Walsh for 2 weeks. He actually got injured in the prelim, and I know that because it didn't say whether he was sent to the hospital with physio yet, so he got injured in just the prelim. So there's a big, big injury there for Carlton. And Sam Doherty still out for another 3 weeks. So 2 pretty big injuries there for Carlton. But yeah, Carlton do have a very good list, so I'm sure they'll have the players to fill in the gaps for those 2 very good players. So here's a look at the team lineups. No changes for us coming into this game. So the full back line is still Keith, Davis, Perryman, half back line, Taylor, Haynes, Whitfield, centre line, Trento and Hopper on the wings, Cornelio in the middle. Yeah, we're going to go through our team pretty quickly because, like I said, it's the exact same as last game. So the followers, Flynn in the ruck, Kelly Ward in the guts, half forward, Bruin, Finlayson and Green, full forward, Goulden, Himmelberg, Daniels. And of course, the bench, De Boer, Hogan, Kennedy and Brigaya. We got mid forward, forward, back, ruck. But now we move on to Carlton's team lineup. So their full back line, Sard, Wiedering, Williams, half back line, Plowman, Jones, Pachevsky's seam, which is a bit surprising. I thought Southern Williams would have been the flankers, but anyway. And then the two wings, Jack Nunes and Zach Fisher, and in the guts, Mark Murphy. Their followers, Smith in the ruck, Cripps, Curnow and Ed Curnow in the guts, half forward line, Martin, Casbolt, Charlie Curnow, full forward line, Mackay, DeConning, Jack Silvani. There's actually two first yearers playing in the grand final, Smith and Brigaya, both ruckmen. And their bench, Cunningham, Gibbons, McGovern and Caleb Marchbank. So a very strong 22 there from Carlton. And that is the end of the 2022 Grand Final preview. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the Grand Final episode.